Chit Ananda. I am of the nature of consciousness. I am of the nature of truth. Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om.
You can miss your chance, you know. You can miss your chance, and it's the worst to miss your chance, you know. Because if you spent so many years around the master or several masters and so on, you don't get it. And then what happens is that many years later, because even people like from Osho and like this, and even from Papaji or whichever masters they've been to, and they didn't really get it. They didn't complete their sadhana. They're not liberated souls in this world, you know. And now if they come to satsang, you see, if they're here and you start to speak satsang, they can't take it. They have to leave. They have to go. They are going as well too, because either their ego come and tell them, but you know all of this already. You've done this already. But you've not done it. You just sat there. You've not done it. You've not, so to speak, you know. You've not really done it, you know. So when they come to satsang, if they happen to be here, you know, like I see some people who came, and they've been with Osho or they've been with Papaji or whatever, and they come to satsang, and then you see something disturbed them. And it's either because they've heard, their mind tell them, you've heard this before, you know this. But yet, if you really knew it, why would you be disturbed? You see, they have to leave because they feel uncomfortable or, you know, whatever, you know. So I say they blow their chance, and it's like, it's very difficult to regain that enthusiasm, that openness that you had earlier, because you went with a distraction that took you away. And once it takes you away and it gets you, it's very difficult to come back. It's like, for instance, you take a certain kind of drug, and when you're in the influence of this drug, you cannot think of who you were before what you're doing. You're just in the space of this drug. You see? And only when they come, even some people, they've been to satsang for even they come here even. Then they go back and they're in the world, so to speak. When I say the world, I don't mean talk about the earth and the cities. I'm talking about in the mind. What they've used the city to create some strangeness in their mind. And then they find it very difficult to come back. They always make postponing. But when they do come back, you know, some of them, after 2 or 3 days or 1 or 2 days, you see already they're collapsing into the space, because they say, my God, how could I forget? You know, it's so wonderful. But when they're out there, they were not having that feeling. Their minds were taken up with, you know, their personalities and other people's personalities and all of this. So until you are cured of that tendency, you're not really out of the fire, you know. And at the moment, Papaji's statement, when he was asked by some students, you know, Papaji, you speak about vigilance. Do you also have to be vigilant? And the master said, to my very last breath, I must be vigilant. And it must have been found to be shocking by some people. They think, oh my God, you know, I mean, like, there's no end to this. But I don't hear it like that. I hear that you cannot be complacent. Something is there, and still, as long as your vital force is here and the consciousness of the body is here, you know, some potential to be distracted or to, you know, slowly, you know, some vines want to come back, some weeds want to come. And you have a lot of strength in you, you know, to kind of pull them up or to ignore them, to burn them. But slowly, you can find yourself being pulled into some kind of distraction if you're not really. You have to be ruthless sometime, you know. And what is the difference between an awakened being and an unawakened being? For the awakened one, their they're never out of consciousness. They always are somehow, they always remember themselves. They always win themselves. Whereas the unawakened one is always in their present or the mind. You see, they're always sort of like focused on the world and what the mind is looking at, what the mind thinks, and so on. And so, their first love, their first attention is to the mind and not to themselves. The one who's awake is always in the self. It's always somehow, the self is the root of all things. You begin in the self, you continue in the self, you end in the self. And all those beginnings and endings, they are just phenomenal for you.
You always say this, you don't see the world as it is, you see the world as you are. And inside there was like a complete flip. Like I've heard it many, many times, but inside then I heard, I don't see the world as it is, I see the world as I am.
Yeah.
So it like completely changed. Like, so I don't see the world through my projections, I see the world as I am.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it flipped
You can.
inside.
There's two ways you can hear it, no? I don't see the world. It's right both ways, actually. I don't see the world as the world is, because the world's not different from me, actually. I am seeing the world as I am, whatever I am in that moment, as my person, as whatever. Or I'm not seeing the world as it is. I'm seeing the world as the I am itself, and from the I am
So
itself.
it happens to the inside.
Yes.
It's like, wow.
Yes. You see. So beautiful. Huh?
Mooji looks.
I am of the nature that is Brahman alone. I am of the nature that is pure awareness. I am of the nature of truth. Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om. Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om. Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om. Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva I am of the nature of truth. I am of the nature of truth. I am of the nature of truth.